Hey guys, it's Jake Mace, the vegan athlete. Over the last couple of years, I heard a term repeated over and over again. That term is a food desert. A food desert. And not the kind of desert that I live in currently here, the Sonoran Desert, but a food desert is one created by humans, by men and women, in the form of the loud, obnoxious, concrete jungle that we currently live in. But what happens if we can rethink the way our concrete jungle works? And as population booms and becomes more and more, we can integrate our food system inside this concrete jungle to eliminate the food deserts. Well, my friend Justin with Agriscaping is doing that currently with his business. And one installation that he's done a very good job with is this one at Skysong that we're gonna go check out right now and see how he's able to grow food in the concrete jungle to block and cut out these food deserts. Hey, Justin Rohner.
Hey, hey! Jake Mace, good to see you.
Welcome back to my Vegan Athlete channel over here.
Love to be here.
I have always met you from my videos in your trampoline garden.
Yeah, that's right.
That folks
Down under.
click on and walk. Yeah, underneath it. Your kids jump on top and grow a greenhouse type of garden down below it.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. I mean, that was like, everybody loves that thing. They love that fun little, creation we put in our backyard. Now we're building them for everybody.
Whenever folks stop me about my Vegan Athlete gardening videos, they always go, that trampoline garden is really, really cool. So it's popular.
Stuff. It is popular, it's great.
And we're here now in Phoenix, Scottsdale, Tempe kind of area.
Yeah.
And you got this like really urban commercial complex with a lot of ASU buildings and restaurants.
That's right.
And this epic garden is existing out here that you created.
We did, and we tied it in with the restaurants right here at Skysong, really bringing that urban gardening right back to where it should be, right close to where it's sourcing it. You know, sourcing for the restaurants, and that's a lot of what we got here. It's complete integration, so that the landscape was going to be paid for and taken care of anyway. Like, why not be something productive rather than just going to a landfill? We're actually harvesting it and it goes right into the restaurant, right next door. So that's my question, is this produce is being grown for the restaurants, but for anybody else? Well, the people here in the community in Skysong, so we're actually putting together, we got a CSA that they're able to come and actually be able to buy that produce too. So we're growing for them just as much as we're growing for the restaurants.
What is a CSA for folks that don't know?
So that's a community supported agriculture. So basically what it means is that we really work with the community, we find out what people really want to eat, and then we're going to grow specifically for that community, and we're going to grow it directly for them, as direct and as close as we can get it. I mean, within a few hundred yards rather than a few thousand miles.
And they get a weekly or monthly box of fresh stuff.
Exactly.
That changes with the seasons.
That's right. And then what's cool with the restaurants right here too, it's like the restaurants are able to create these really cool recipes for us that they can then share with the people that are in this community, so they know what to do with all this really awesome stuff.
Yeah. Plus they're getting better tasting dishes because fresh food is way better tasting.
Fresh is way better tasting. It's still alive when you're eating it. You can't get better than that.
Absolutely. I mean, you're 87 years old. Look at how great you look.
Yeah, 87. Don't you like that?
You look so youthful. Well, crouch down with me and show me what's in this first bed. And you got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then like a whole forest of sweet potatoes back there.
That's right. We got rivers of sweet potatoes that kind of arc through everything. And this was an experiment in all reality. We started them in the heat of the summer, and then we get into the winter time, and with the microclimates that we created here, I mean, this beautiful sacred tree we have, this ironwood tree, has turned into this amazing microclimate to help us to grow a lot of these greens year round.
What you've done is this sacred ironwood, you're growing loofah vines.
Yeah,
and the loofah sponges are hanging off the tree.
Yep, they're just right up there inside the tree. So the sponges they're going to be using in the restaurant are growing right here too. So we're trying to do as much as we can right here on site.
Okay, so this first bed in front of us, let's get some.
We got my favorite of all, the
You're a big edible flower guy.
edible flower guy. I love these guys. I mean, these are what really saves me when I get the cold and stuff like that. I'll eat 5 of these little violas.
My mom used to call these like a Johnny Jump Up, but they're
Johnny
all
Jump Ups, yep. Viola family, yep.
Yeah.
The Johnny Jumps are a little smaller. The pansies are a little bit larger.
I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but these are so
They're so pretty.
I mean, you're really growing really incredible looking stuff here. And this is right in the open, so how come the gardens look nice and people off the street don't just come in and ruin it?
Well, they come in and they'll glean from it. We've started to notice more and more coming in.
You've noticed some urban harvesting going on.
Some urban harvesting. It's like
unauthorized.
Yeah, one of the restaurants was even joking about it. Someone came into their restaurant and says, "Hey, look, I just picked these. Do you want one?" And she's like, "Hey, you know, those are our tomatoes."
Yeah, for sure.
But it doesn't happen too much, but I'd rather see people pick stuff and eat it and you know, experience what a real fresh food tastes like, rather than get mad at them for it. And so we're working with the community here to figure out what kind of signage do we want to put out that just says, be respectful. If you pick something to eat, pick a weed that you can throw away, or pick up a cigarette butt, or create a relationship with the community that really helps create that kind of environment that we would all love to live in. You know, create that accountability that's respectful. That's kind of what we're thinking.
Now I have questions for you, but before I get into it, you run a company called Agriscaping.
That's right, agriscaping.com. You can find us all there.
I'll put the links down below to all your stuff. YouTube, Facebook, website. You're actually growing gardens, building gardens, but also certifying people to be gardeners, to do what you do.
That's right. At this point, we've got people in 24 different states in the United States right now. We got some people in a couple different countries as well. And we train them on how to create these new urban environments. And there's a variety of different certifications, from education, design, install, maintenance, you know, pro gardeners. There's a lot of different even your own DIY mastery in this process that we call agriscaping, because it's that elegant blend of the best of productive agriculture and the best of ornamental landscape. And so we can bring these things together again. And do it in a way that actually fits, you know, technology today too, bringing in microclimates and microclimate mapping, so we can grow more in less space, and we can grow year-round things that wouldn't normally grow there.
So you're looking for people who are beginners to gardening, or experts, or just have a love for gardening.
That's right.
And you're enabling them to kind of do gardening full-time if they're plugged into your network and your system.
That's right. And if you just love growing stuff at home, we can hook you up with our Utopian Harvest Network. And if you have excess produce,
Utopian Harvest?
Utopian Harvest, you can check that out at utopianharvest.com.
Okay.
And it's another certification we offer to be able to help set these up in different places. It's like a hub.
Farmer's market or something?
It's like a farmer's market, but we do it like a consignment service. And so if you got excess produce and you're growing in a way that fits our better than organic kind of way of growing things, that you'll be able to take that to these market locations and actually sell it. And they actually make money through the system. So
your local community.
Exactly. And so we integrate it all right in. And we got a number of growers that work with us. Utopian Harvest is obviously, that's the way we do it. And it's more of a certified naturally grown approach, but we'll teach you how to grow. I mean, if you want to grow with us, we're going to help you grow, and we're going to help you learn how to do it right.
So people who are involved with agriscaping can either be teachers, they can be designers, they can be gardeners, or they can actually turn their front backyard into a profitable gardening enterprise.
Oh, absolutely. It's like we're actually working on a whole new classification, so we can actually rate gardens. We got a 24-carat garden would be one that literally provides enough revenue for itself, as well as for the taxes on the home, our mortgage on it, because we're helping people literally generate that significant revenue even on small property sizes.
Will it have actual carrots in it?
Actual carrots, yes, literal carrots. So that's the carrots we use. That's our golden carrots.
These flowers are fantastic. Just keep talking, because I'm gonna eat all these flowers.
Well, don't eat them all. We need some.
What is this one?
That's
this is some sort of a sage thyme kind of hybrid plant you called Sorrento.
Yeah, like a Sorrento thyme, I think is what it's called. It smells amazing.
It smells amazing, and it is a culinary herb.
Yeah, and it's one of the only dusty type herbs, I mean, that you can cook with. I mean, if you like using sage and thyme, this thing feels and tastes a lot like a cross between the two. Yeah. And so when you cook, if you like using those things, this is an awesome herb to be using. And it's got that dusty blue color, so it looks amazing in the landscape as well. And it's really easy to maintain. I mean, we hardly have to do anything with these guys and keep them looking this pretty.
How about the one next to you that's flowering with tons of bees all over it?
This one is some chives. So these are actually some wonderful garlic chives that we've got growing. And so you got these wonderful flowers up top.
I could eat one of these.
Yeah, you can just eat the leaf.
That's fresh, that's amazing.
That is good.
If we move down the row, we see some more
celery, some ornamental kales.
Which is edible.
Yeah, it's edible. We actually use a lot of that for kale chips and other recipes that the restaurants love to use.
I mean, if I show the camera this leaf, if you don't mind,
check that out.
Beautiful leaf.
Nice
right there.
Deep red color. We got Swiss chard behind you, some of the other normal kales that everybody likes to eat. We got different varieties of basils. Yeah, a few different varieties of kales, some arugulas out there.
The arugula?
Yep. And then we got, citrus, different varieties of citrus, variegated calamansi, which is a lime, kind of a calamansi lime. Yeah, some fruit trees we got growing in here too, that they integrate into their stuff here. We'll have pomegranate trees on the other side. Some, yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff we grow here.
I want to have you take me to one more place in the garden. I have 3 questions for you.
Okay.
At the next location.
All right.
So Justin, as we walk past here, you have beautiful hibiscus.
That's
going
right.
on here. And can humans eat the hibiscus?
Oh, you can definitely eat these things. This is actually good for your heart. If you have high blood pressure and stuff, we make a tea out of that, or you can throw it in with like a lemonade. They call it Southwest lemonade.
Wow.
If you go to Cafe Rio, they have the Southwest lemonade. They literally use hibiscus petals and work it into their whole mix. So it makes this cool red
take
wine.
1 petal if you don't mind.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
And I'm going to combine this 1 petal with the decorative kale. And I'm going to put this piece of arugula for that smoky, spicy flavor.
Yeah.
And I got a little bit of a flowery, lettucey, nutritious wrap.
There you go.
I think I'm good now for the next week.
Good for the heart and soul. He's got it all. Yeah,
right.
There we go. It's good.
If we walk down here, you can see how it's February 1st today, and you still got tomatoes growing that survived the frost, and you've got a plethora of yellow pear cherry tomatoes just dropped everywhere out here.
Yep, they're all over out here. And this has a lot to do with the microclimate that we're hanging out under, is what helped protect it from a lot of the frost that we had.
And what creates the microclimate for gardeners out there?
So for gardeners, it's the sun orientation as well as the evaporative orientation too. I mean, we've got this big canopy of that sacred ironwood tree that we got here that helped protect it from all the cold air dropping back down onto this area.
So instead of a frost cloth, you use an ironwood tree.
Exactly. This is our cover that we basically put over the part of this, and then in the summertime it creates a nice filtered light. We call this an E microclimate, so it's an E class microclimate, and it has its own relationship in terms of schedule of when you plant stuff based on this area. And so that's a lot of what we did, is built this microclimate mapping system, so you know what to plant, when to plant it in any square foot, full shade, full sun, partial sun, and it's different. It's not your normal schedule that the farmers would use. It's
like
a
you
lot
guys
better.
at Agroscaping, you take the microclimates that are in your backyard or in your business, and you categorize them as an A, B, C, D, E, F. What is it?
All the way up to F. We have 6 major microclimates. And when we get into the subterranean garden stuff, it's like, oh, it's a totally different kind of, it's a whole other world down there.
So eventually, pretty much, you think that every microclimate that's in a landscape is classified into one of those 6 zones.
Correct.
And then you only plant applicable plants in those areas.
Correct, and you'll have 100% success rate when you do it that way. Most people's lack of success is because they're planting the wrong thing in the wrong space.
Okay.
And that's really their biggest issue.
Okay, if we come up and take a few steps this way, you've got like a lawn that's on top of rock of sweet potatoes, and these are 2 different kinds of sweet potatoes. Touch on what's growing out here and talk about it.
So we got a purple sweet potato with a nice purple leaf that you got right here. This one is awesome. This one's a little more cold hardy all on its own, but then this green leaf one, it's a marguerite. A lot of people just grow this one for its ornamental look.
Okay.
But when you grow it right, it actually produces a white sweet potato that actually has a really nice sweet kind of flavor to it, but it's not as sweet as your traditional orange centered ones.
Okay.
And so you could use them like you would almost like a russet potato, but that's what these guys are. And you can eat the leaves too.
Of both colors, you can eat the leaves.
Yes, you can eat the leaves too.
That's amazing. And you can grow these from tubers or the slips, right?
Yeah, just the slips. I mean, in a slip, is as easy as literally taking a chunk of that off right there and then sticking this in water, and it'll root out at every node. And then you got a whole new plant that'll then grow into sweet potatoes for you.
Because if the camera can see, you've got raised beds here that are about what, like 8 inches, 10 inches tall?
Yeah, they're about 8 inches or so. There's steel raised beds that we have between each of these things.
So you have a watering system in the beds,
just
but
in the
these
beds.
Potatoes are crawling out and still surviving.
Correct, and they just create this nice vining kind of effect, and we created this nice little river that flows through the gardens.
It really does, like if the camera can see, it really does flow down the landscape, it comes over the terraces, and it keeps going all the way out.
Yep.
It's really amazing.
Yeah, it's fun. And when we transplant, we're gonna plant something else in its stead, but we're gonna try to follow that same kind of theme, and keeping that river flow, you know, juxtaposed with these solid beds in this really structured environment. It's just kind of a fun art piece that we've been having fun with.
For sure.
Living art.
It is.
Yeah.
This is very well designed, and it's beautiful right now, especially in the early spring, which is kind of sometimes a gap time in Arizona.
Yeah, it is.
Like, you should have a really good looking garden April, May, and maybe like November, December, but you're doing it every month of the year.
Well, and that's the key. If you know how to run your microclimates and you got something to support you in that, because it's a lot of information, but that's why we built the technology stuff. It's like, you know, we got a new app coming out, and that's really a cool thing. We'll have to share that with you maybe another time when we can launch that thing. But it makes it really easy to know exactly what to grow in which area. It helps you identify which microclimate you're looking at, you know, and give you the list of stuff to plant, and then when you input it in, you'll know what to do when. You know, it's like giving that information, so it's super easy for anybody to do stuff.
And speaking of the ironwood tree that was here, you didn't plant that, it was already on location.
Already here.
Talk about what you had to do to protect it and then use it as a microclimate producer.
Yeah, this thing was already growing here, and that was one of the stipulations in working with this space, is that we wanted to be able to keep that ironwood tree alive. We wanted to be able to use it and create this as a microclimate. And so the people cutting through, I mean, you can see there's big drain pipes going through here that were required for city codes and stuff like that, so they damaged roots. So we had to pay really good attention on how much root was damaged and look at the diameter of root that was damaged and make sure that we trimmed off of the tree an equal diameter of tree trunk to ensure that we weren't overtaxing the tree and trying to keep it preserved and survive. So we made sure that the mulch bed was all around that as well, that we never actually messed with the area directly around the core of that tree. And then in growing those loofahs up inside of there, that was a way to actually help protect it from the summer sun as the leaves were starting to grow back, because there was like no water here for a while as they were doing the development stuff for months. And so we kind of had to bring it back to life, and we used the loofah to actually help that out.
This tree seems like a street dog that was homeless, that dirty, that somebody like you adopted, shampooed up, and brought into a good family, and now it's probably very well taken care of and happy. What?
There we go, adopt a tree today. Adopt a tree today.
You did. What inside of your heart, like, why not just come in, cut the tree down, and plant a new one in its place? Why did you want to, what in you wants to preserve something like that and then build a beautiful garden around it?
Well, ironwoods have a history around here too. I mean, this is one of for the indigenous people that lived here, these were trees that they literally gleaned a lot from. Not only just
the flowers
you can eat a lot from the tree, and also what they provided in terms of a microclimate in the summertime. They really do create a cooler environment. This was the evaporative cooler of their time.
Yeah.
And this is what you'd use. And it also, just the age and the history of these trees, the turns and how they react to different climate conditions. You can kind of look at the history of the tree. You can literally look across it and you can see different years.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you their story. And so a tree has its storyline, and I don't want to get rid of that entire storyline.
Yeah.
I want to keep that as much as I can and let it bless all these other plants that are living with, underneath it. I mean, there's a whole history of this place on the front of the building. That's another piece of the puzzle, is that we wanted to really cherish this history and bring it into the modern time, just transition it into what we need now for our current, environment where we live.
And now you're using it as a trellis to hold your loofahs.
It holds loofahs.
That's great.
It's great, and we'll be growing something else during the summertime. I think this year we'll be doing something else, probably beans, so we can get some more nitrogenous stuff, fixing into the ground to help just that tree grow even better and faster.
That's amazing.
It's all the cool stuff that you can do with plants.
Yeah, or if you learn from a pro like agriscaping.
Yeah, or if you become a pro, and then you can teach everybody else.
That's great.
It's good stuff.
No, that's seriously the power, is teaching somebody is better than just doing for them.
Exactly.
Didn't Jesus say that?
Yeah, something like that.
Teaching somebody to fish instead of giving them a fish.
That's right, and that's the theory. That's where it goes out. I mean, we use what we call an edge approach. So we explain, we demonstrate, we guide them through the process and empower them as they teach and share with others.
That's great.
And so those 4 steps is the best way to learn any new skill, and that's skill-based stuff. I mean, any new skill, if you can do those 4 steps, you got it. And it's a lot quicker than most people realize.
That was a really good acronym.
Yeah, you like that one?
Yeah.
I wish I made that up, but I didn't. So Boy Scouts of America, that's one good thing of Boy Scouts. There's a lot of bad rap they get, but that's 21st century Boy Scout stuff. And I was like, hey, I changed the last word though, so.
It's okay.
Empower.
I'm sure it still has a good meaning.
It does have a good meaning. It's good stuff.
So every good garden, every good gardener takes care of the soil.
Oh yeah, soil first.
So I wanted to ask you, not all soil is created equal.
That's right.
So what kind of soil are you doing in these raised beds? This one's a little taller raised bed.
It is a taller raised bed. It was part of the effect that we wanted to create, creating a lot more angles as we came down inside of here.
That's great.
But with this raised bed, it also angles down, which means the water would flow across the soil when we do it.
Okay.
And so we actually integrated a lot more native soil in with it, so there's actually a bit more clay in this, because there is a benefit to clay in soil because it holds moisture longer.
Okay.
And so in these particular beds down here, we have a subterranean watering system, so it's all integrated in, so it literally percolates inside the bed. It's just about 3 inches down, or maybe it's only 2 inches down, and it perks through the bed, so we never have a lot of evaporation, and then it holds in the soil for an extended period of time. So a lot of good biomass in here. It's a good, 60% biomass, but still there's some silt and some clay kind of mixed in with it. You can see how it holds its form. And that was particularly for these beds in the angles that we're growing in, to make sure that the soil would hold and not just spill out or float away.
The results speak for themselves. You got a beautiful thriving garden. This is a bunch of amaranth right here.
Yep, this is some amaranth. So this is
Love Lies Bleeding or something? Or?
This one isn't the Love Lies Bleeding. This is actually in the Celosia subfamily of the amaranth world.
Oh,
so
wow.
These guys, you can still eat the leaves and the flowers and stuff. They still produce the little black seed. It's a black seeded amaranth basically. And awesome plant. They've integrated into some of the recipes here. They'll kind of throw it in as almost like little colored crouton that they got in the salads and
pretty
stuff.
cool.
It's kind of fun.
So you were speaking about not all soil is created equal, so change the soil according to the project you're gardening.
Yeah, especially topographies. I mean, if I'm in a pot, you know, I'm going to use a different mix. If I'm on the top of a roof, I'm using a different mix.
Right.
You know, if I'm in the ground, I'm playing with a little bit different mix.
Fruit tree.
A fruit tree. You know, tropical versus other types of fruit trees. You know, totally different types of soils. Citrus versus tropical, different soils. You know, and it's just getting to know what they need. Just like what's native, you know, needs its kind of same environment, right?
And one more thing was the watering system you said is subterranean, it's under the soil. How far under the soil?
So it's only like 2 inches under, and then we've got about...
What is it?
They're pipes that have a copper lining at each of the ports, and then it drips out through those copper linings.
So it's like it's not a soaker type. It's just got an emitter
every foot.
Oh,
and
wow.
then we've got them about a foot apart, all in a grid underneath the soil.
So it crisscrosses like that.
Well, no, it's just a bunch of lines, and then they kind of interconnect just to keep them all together.
That's cool.
But that's how it's all. They're all just kind of set inside of there to make it work on the angles. Because if we didn't do that, we'd have to do spray watering, and then it'd be an excessive amount of water. And hey, we're being efficient with water and ensuring that we have the really good water right where we need it, right at the roots, and making sure that the soil doesn't get sloughed off.
Folks like videos like this with experts like Justin. You can follow all his links below, hit the like button and comment, and turn on our notifications, the bell button. But you've also hooked it up where we can go inside, see these 2 restaurants, and see how they're integrating some of the garden into the food.
That's right. Let's go check them out.
Let's go check it out.